more often than not, we talk all about how angry we are, how frustrated we are, how let down we feel, how terrible everything is, how horrible our partner is, and that's where we stay. And then we have these 6-hour arguments, that so many of my clients report to me, or 8-hour or 3-day or whatever, and they just don't stop arguing. And they think, their intention is to find a resolution, but they can never, right? Why? Because they stay in this space of angry feelings. And actually, if we would look deeper, we understand that that is not the full truth, and often it's not even like a lot of the truth. It's just a tiny part of anger, frustration. The much bigger part, like the iceberg, as you so to speak, underneath the water, is our vulnerable emotions that we have never learned to share. But in feminine communication, we want to learn to share exactly that, because that's what's actually gonna resolve the situation, or at least makes the chances and likelihood much, much, much higher that we can resolve a situation. So in order to get in touch with the vulnerable emotions and also make it come across, we have to connect with our body. So if I would want to communicate in a feminine way, I would try to feel as much as possible my body and the vulnerable feelings I feel underneath. Instead of looking at the other person, like our partner or our date, and sort of like trying to win this argument, I'm connecting with my body. I do something very different, and I feel actually what's going on. And I try to stay in the energy of, I'm showing up here as a vulnerable human being because I want to show you my real self, because that's a place where we can connect and find resolution. So mostly what this would mean is that we breathe more, we talk much more slower, because we want to feel as we speak, right? And when we then start saying things, we want to feel our body as we say them. When we say, I feel really overwhelmed now, everything is too much for me, well, that situation really hurt me, it's a lot right now, I want to really solve this and I don't know how. Okay, so I hope you felt that I was really connecting with my body. I was not so much focusing on the other person, I was actually focusing on me and trying to bring across whatever I'm feeling. Okay, so connect with the body is the first step. The second step is to talk about our emotions and our feelings directly. We're not saying you are such a terrible person, you are inconsiderate, you don't even care about me, you don't love me anyways. We don't say all these things, or you are untidy, or you're such a child. These are all such judgments, and they just act like bombs. You're just throwing bombs at the other person, and don't expect to get any empathy, understanding. They can't, because they're just like having the shield up and then are busy with throwing bombs back. So when you learn how to talk about your real emotions and needs, you need to say them. You need to become aware of them and say them directly. So instead of all these things I mentioned, all these judgments, I would be like, I'm super anxious, I'm super confused, I feel afraid, I don't know if you love me. It feels like that, I feel there's not enough care in our relationship. I feel I'm missing understanding. I'm really missing emotional intimacy. I feel there's this big gap between us. I'm talking directly about my experience. And for that, of course, you have to figure out what these emotions are and these needs, but then you have to say them. And again, connecting number 1 and 2, right? You stay in the body, you stay connected with yourself, and then you talk directly about. And as you can also see, I'm using just I statements, like I feel like this. When you do this, I feel like this. When this happens, I feel like this. So you're staying with yourself. And the chances that the other person feels attacked is so much lower, because you're staying with your vulnerable emotions, you're staying with your body, with your authentic feelings from the energy, and also you're using all these I statements and these I feeling words. So for the other person to be able to, oh my gosh, I'm starting to see you, I'm starting to understand what the problem is, and I actually have space to do that because you don't constantly attack me, okay? And then the third step would be to, when the other person, especially in the beginning, when you're not used to you being this way and communicating like this, starts to still throw little bombs, that you don't revert back into the old way of communicating. Instead, you're simply saying, oh, that felt like a little bit of an attack, and that hurt me, and maybe we could stop the conversation for a bit and then continue later. I just want to do this because I really don't want to go into our old ways again and start fighting. I want to be authentic and really communicate in a different way. And then, you walk away, right? So that is so crucial, especially in the beginning, because it's like a bait, when someone is attacking you, that you just, because you feel like, I need to defend myself, I need to show him what's going on, but it's actually pointless. It's so pointless, because you're just shooting yourself, you're shooting the relationship. There's nothing, no one is winning this war. If you win an argument, the relationship still suffers, so no one is winning, right? So, and you do this a few times, you realize how freeing it is, and that's real power. That's actually a powerful place to be, because you're not turning in circles again, fighting for hours. Imagine how much life energy just sucks out of you, and it just destroys the relationship, right? So those are the 3 steps. And if you want to learn them, you can always reach out to me for coaching. It's really, really powerful. And also to learn this just, before you're starting to date or starting to search for a new person, it can really absolutely dramatically shift your relationship experience. All right.